Welcome to the podcast with Kylie Nichols. I made the unlikely transition from stay-at-home mom to CEO of Nickel and Suede, a leading multi-million-dollar fashion company. At Nickel and Suede, we empower the everyday woman to step into her story more boldly, one life-changing accessory at a time. The goal of this podcast is to inspire you through my story and the stories of other powerhouse women to live the best version of your life. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, and get ready to get started with Kylie Nichols. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I am so glad to be back this Friday. And today I actually have a virtual interview. This is my first virtual interview. It feels like I've taken the podcast to a new level. So really excited. And also, you guys are going to love today's guest. Today, I have with me a new friend to me, but someone that I already admire so much. Her name is Melinda Champion, and she's from North Carolina. She's a stay-at-home mom with 2 grown kids and a great husband. They own a business together, and I can get into it about how we met. But welcome to the podcast, Melinda.
Hi, how are you, Kylie?
I'm so good. It's so good to get to see you again. Melinda and I met a few weeks ago in Colorado, and we had such a fun little brief meeting, but I said, I've got to talk to her more. I want to get her on the podcast. So I'm really happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. And we met on top of a mountain after a climb.
We did something hard, not exactly together, but together. And so then we met, and we had a bonding moment. So
we did.
I love it. Awesome. Well, so to set this up a little bit, I did talk about you on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. So everybody kind of does have a background to the story. So this is the Melinda that I met on top of the Manitou Incline, and I was able to gift a pair of earrings to as part of our buy one, give one promotion. And it was such a cool experience for me, but and I shared a little bit of the story and, you know, what I had learned from Melinda about her life, and I said, we need to know more. So yeah, we met on the Manitou Incline. And what was that day for you, Melinda?
It's my 50th birthday, and I was at a 145-pound weight loss.
Oh my
God. I decided 2 years ago, my husband and I started hiking, and I was new to Instagram. Manitou popped up, and I said, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it on my 50th. And we worked and we made it. That was a big moment for me when I reached the top of that. It was awesome.
That's amazing. So you stood out to me so much when we were on that mountain, and part of it was you had a happy birthday headband on, so I could tell instantly it was your birthday. And she had the cutest hair. I wear my hair like that, these 2 big buns, and Soren and I were instantly attracted to how much energy you had and how you were just offering to take pictures for people. And like, you could just tell you were so happy to be there. Whereas everybody else was just like kind of out of breath and not talking anymore.
I tell you, it was, we did it. It took us about an hour and 30 minutes only because we stopped so much and just celebrated everything, the view and the fact, each little milestone, the 1,000 steps, the 1,500 steps. I had to take pictures at each one of those milestones because this was such a goal that I lived every day for 2 years. I lived to do that. So I had to enjoy it. And we were laughing. I have pictures from that where I was smiling. My cheeks hurt by the time I got to the top.
That's amazing. I was stopping so many times on the way up as well, but mostly just because I was like, I think my heart might explode. I had not trained for that time. So I love that you had trained for it. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today, but also that you just really took time to enjoy reaching that goal, and like doing something hard was your goal. Your reward for 2 years of hard work was to do another hard thing.
Was another hard thing. It was. Well, I tell you, Kylie, when we got up that morning and we drove out there and on the bus, we saw it, and I didn't see it. I was just looking at everything. And my husband's Robert, he said, that's it. And when I saw that that incline, my stomach like clenched, and I said, I don't want to do it. And he says, oh, we're doing it. And so I was so glad that I did it. But I wasn't going to for a second.
Yeah, so many lessons there, right? Like, I don't want to do this. Okay, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So glad. Yeah. And before this interview, we talked about even just you and I talking today, like it was a struggle to get this put together and to connect. And it's like, why is this so hard? Well, I think it's because it's going to be a good thing that we talk, but it's sometimes hard to do these things. So awesome. Well, okay. So I think everybody knows now the Manitou Incline, well, it killed us both, but you really enjoyed it. And you had set this goal. So really what we all want to know is like, what was that? Why did you set that goal? Like, why was that such a reward for you? And I feel like we could start anywhere. There's so many maybe places in your life you could start with how did you get to that point where that was your goal and you felt like such a champion?
Well, okay. So I, at one point, probably in 2008, I weighed 300 pounds, and we went to Colorado, and I couldn't do anything. I sat in the rental car, while my husband and my two boys climbed Loveland Pass. And I did that while I was there as well. I went we went to the second peak that they'd went to up on Loveland. But I sat in the car for 2 hours while they hiked, and I was looking at the views from the window of my car. And I'm in my car right now. I just did a gym class. But I was determined, being 300 pounds and I was diabetic. I was on blood pressure medicine. I was on 3 different depression medicines. And my kids were living their lives without their mom. Even though I was giving them their homeschool lessons and doing things like that, I was dying. And when the doctor called me and said my husband was pre-diabetic, I knew I had to make a change, because I was not losing him. I love my husband. And so we started making a change. And we told you in Soren, I could hardly walk 15 feet. I was so out of shape. And my husband called me every day to come up to his shop and walk. So that's what got me started. I had weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve. And the day that I had that surgery, when I woke up, they gave me my diabetes medicine. And I got so sick, my blood sugar dropped so low, and they told me, they said, you're cured. You don't have to worry about this. As long as I, stayed healthy, continued to lose weight, then I was cured of that. And my blood pressure went down. The more weight I lost, the more exercising. I had osteoporosis. I have osteopenia now because I started doing strength training, which has built bone. So I had to do something or I was going to die. I was going to die before I was 45. So, and I wouldn't have been on that mountain at 50. And I was going to be on a mountain at 50. So
I'm just so in awe because you're so you glow now. You're to me, the picture of healthy, just energy. And so I can't imagine you were this peppy and happy and had this much energy before now. Have you seen other changes in yourself then too?
I'm a caretaker. I take care of everybody. I don't ever take care of myself. And so that's been a big thing I've had to change in my life, is to say no and not to stretch myself out so much, and to allow time for me. So I rushed over here to do this new step class that almost killed me. And I look like a booger head. But I love you, because you and Soren were so cute on that mountain, and I just adored y'all when I met you, and you were just this, oh my gosh, you look like this model. And I was sweaty and dirty.
Too nice.
But just, learning to take care of myself through this journey, has been the biggest thing. Because, when you're a mom, you take care of everybody. And I've always wanted to be a mom. That was my goal growing up. And I have had infertility. It took us 6 years to have our first child. And I was told I'd never have children. And actually went through a reproductive endocrinologist and had gone through all this treatment. And they had decided that I needed to have a hysterectomy because I had endometriosis so bad. So we were going in to schedule that, and they found out I was pregnant with my first child. So, and then I had a second one, and I was going for a third child, but I wasn't able to. I had to have a emergency hysterectomy, a total hysterectomy at 28. And that started my health issues because you need all of those hormones and everything for your body. And because they removed everything, that's how the osteoporosis started, and
Oh
the
my.
weight gain and the depression. And so it was rough,
Yeah.
but God gave me my two boys. I let him down. I didn't follow through with how I should take care of myself. Because I, took care of everybody else. One of my oldest son, he had attention deficit syndrome in school, and that's what made us homeschool. He said he was going to kill himself on the playground, and I got a phone call, and I rushed to the school, and there was a lot of things. A family member had shot and killed himself over his girlfriend, a 16-year-old cousin, and Justin had grown up hearing about Joey doing that, and he was just repeating it on the playground.
Yeah.
But my life changed that day, hearing my son say he was going to kill himself. He never went back to school. We homeschooled from that moment on. And I kept them in our house, and I taught them the things that, we taught him the fundamental things, of course, but I also taught him things that I wanted him to carry through his life, that he meant something. And he was a good person, both of my children, and they both are. They're grown men now, and they've come back and they've thanked me for homeschooling them and for sacrificing my career. I worked for a Raymond James and Associates, a brokerage firm, a multi-million-dollar producer for them. And I traveled over the country with that company, but I gave everything up for my kids, for their lives. And I think moms do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Is I think that so many women can resonate, and it just happens, and you do what you have to do to take care of people, but then you don't have time, or there's just no way, or you put it at the bottom of the list to take care of yourself. And it's for phases, I think, and for times of life that can be necessary, and it is what it is. But I think it's so admirable that in every phase of life you just did what you had to do to make things better. So you did it with your son and the homeschooling, and that's just what you had to do to overcome that period of life. But you didn't let yourself down later either. Like, it came down to, okay, well, I have to do something that's hard. I'm going to do it for me now, but also for your kids.
Exactly. Doing something for you. I've watched your little struggles this week with the gym, and just trying to get more time. And you
That's
said, I
hard.
think yesterday you said, I just need another hour. And
Yeah.
as I was cooking supper last night, I kept thinking, I need about 2 more hours. But you have to learn to say no, and you have to, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be there to take care of the people that need you in their lives.
Yeah.
And if it is just, a walk, to get out and walk 20, 30 minutes to clear your mind and give you that little bit of a break, you've got to do it for you. And of course, my thing, I didn't think 300 pounds. I was like, if I could just lose 20 pounds. And then when the 20 pounds fell off, I said, okay, if I can lose down to the 50 pounds. And now, I want to lose about 20 more pounds, build muscle. I'm not on any medicines except for an allergy medicine, and then I go get allergy shots, and I take all of my vitamins. But I was up to like 10 medicines prescribed, sleeping pills, the depression pills, like I said. And I took myself, I didn't tell my doctor, I winged myself. I Googled everything, and I slowly started cutting my pills. And then when I went back in, she like to kill me.
I bet.
But she said she was happy that I winged myself off, and we didn't tell anybody, just my husband and I. He has been such a support with this whole process, and I can't thank him enough for being there for me. I mean, he's just been so supportive and helpful, and he gives me and encourages. And I think you need to have someone in your life, a partner to help you, or a friend, that you can rely on to make you, and to give you the truth. Sometimes you need the truth. So
Yeah, I love that. I think both of those are great points. You need somebody to love you, but someone to tell you the truth and to make you sometimes do the hard things. I loved when you told us that he had done, a lot of the walking with you, and every day. And I don't know if there were days that he was like, I'm just going to make you do it. You don't want to, but that's how Soren is to me sometimes. So
yeah. Oh, I love this little thing when he laid your workout clothes out.
yeah.
Yeah.
He really does. I don't know if you guys exercise together at all, but that's one of his, love languages, I think, is to get up and exercise together. So yeah.
We walk and we hike, and we have connected so much. Now, there have been some times out in the woods, the little critters have heard some language that's not real good. I have a hot streak, and but we come together. I love the fact that we can let it go so fast. We get in an argument because I think we've taken the wrong turn, and he'll let me walk that wrong direction, and he won't say a word, and then I get my little GPS out, and I realize I've made the wrong turn. But he's so supportive, and then I have to say I'm sorry for being ugly. But yes, I love our time together, our working out together. It's just, I don't know, it's because I hate working out. I hate exercising. I hate getting dirty, but I love, after the fact, how I feel.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it makes me.
Yeah, that's such a good lesson. And the remembering that you like how it feels after. I think there's so many hard things or dirty things. I don't like to get dirty either. It's like, I honestly love that you still hate exercising. It's been like years now that you've had such great, success and rewards from doing it, which is obviously why you keep doing it. But the fact that you still hate it, I think, is a really good lesson. Like, sometimes we will forever hate the thing that's good for us.
Exactly. I love sugar. I love sugar in my coffee, and I've given it all up. And that was one of the hardest things that I could do, was giving up my sugar. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but I hate stevia, but I've learned to live with it. But that was hard, and making the time to go to the gym. I hate the gym. I would rather be outside. Which Kylie, I cut wood. I split our wood and I stack our wood. I have to send you a picture of my wood stack. I've got about 14 trees. Robert cuts them in lengths that I can handle, and then I wiggle them, roll them. I strain and sweat, and then I get them up on a wood splitter and I split the wood. I've done that for 4 years.
That is amazing.
My weight loss journey started August 13th, 2014. And so I've hiked, lift weights, and I cut our wood, I cut our grass, I weed eat, I do all of that stuff so that he doesn't have to. He works and makes the money and allows me to stay home and kill myself doing all that other stuff.
I'm so amazed that you split wood. I think that's just incredible. I mean, that takes a lot of strength, but also for someone who doesn't like to get dirty, like that is so many ways of stepping out of the comfort zone.
Oh, I hate bugs, I hate snakes, and I have them all. It's awful.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, was really like, what were the hardest points in this journey to reaching your goal? Like, was there a time where you felt like quitting, and like how did you push past that?
Um, well, oh gosh, every day I feel like quitting because I hurt my being that heavy. I wasn't always 300 pounds. It was after the hysterectomy, and then I started on all those medicines that the the weight gain started. But I'm 5'2", and 300 pounds is a lot for us, and I'm small framed. So
Yeah.
my knees and my elbows and my back hurt. And so every day it hurts going up and down my steps. And, I don't want to go back on medicines. So I try to find alternative vitamin supplements and things like that to help me, combat my pain and my issues. And I know right now, after I've done the workout, my joints don't hurt quite as bad. Now tonight I'll sound like a creaky door going up the steps, but every day I want to quit because I'm a couch potato and I do love playing video games. And my Animal Crossing, I sit there and I play it. I'm not one of those shooting games or anything, but I play Animal Crossing.
We have Animal Crossing.
Yes, I love my island, and I could sit there for hours, but I have to get up and I have to motivate myself because I will never, ever be 300 pounds again. I'll never be 200 pounds again. I'm going to go out fighting and kicking and screaming and being as healthy as I can. I hate cooking. I hate cleaning the kitchen, but I'm in there cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I do whole foods. I haven't started a garden. I don't know that I'm going to go that far, but thank God for the farmers and the farmer markets because I'm there. I will support our local farmers. But cooking and cleaning and all that, I see that I'm helping my family eat better. I'm improving their lives, and that they see Mama go from what I came from, and that I can still get up. I was boxing last night. Um, I was in Colorado for my 50th, so my oldest son bought me a bunch of boxing equipment, and we set it all up last night, and I was boxing with him. So we can connect on that level. And my other son was trying to teach me how to skateboard. He's 23.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm not coordinated. I did not want to break a hip. So he let me quit that. But they're reaching out to me, and so we're connecting on a whole nother level, and it's healthy. And we focus on things like that. So for birthdays, they see now that I set goals for Colorado, for Manitou Incline. Next year, 51, I don't know where I'm going to go. I haven't set that goal yet, but 60, Lord help me. I'm so excited for my 60th birthday. I'm going to have a big, big blowout somewhere.
Oh my gosh. I just love all of the new ideas, and like I can just see like you're so open to so many new things. Like, okay, and none of them, there's so many things that you're continuing to do that, like I said, you don't love. It's not enjoyable, but you're finding ways to enjoy it or to try new things. And like I think it's such a good testament that once you start one goal and you achieve something and it feels good, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to try this new thing and I'm going to try that new thing. And it just really like cascades.
It does. I love, and I volunteer a lot because I want to give back. And that was a big thing with my kids. I made them volunteer. We did all kinds of things. I've worked for the American Red Cross. I volunteered for them for years, and they finally said, you know what, after 11 years, they came to me and said, please let us pay you. And that was so strange. I was like, what? And so I've been all over Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia with the American Red Cross, volunteering, teaching them first aid, CPR, and AED training. I've volunteered at the hospital. We've volunteered so much. I love giving back to people, and I love helping people. I talked to you earlier about my childhood wasn't so great. I was molested at 5 years old. I have a twin sister. I didn't tell you that.
I
I
didn't know
have
that.
I have an identical twin sister, and we both were molested. So we are very close. Um, and that set up my whole life for not allowing myself to be beat down. And I was not going to hold on to the struggles I had as a child. I wanted to overcome, and to be told that you're going, even in school, I can remember teachers talking about us and our family life. And my mom and my dad separated when we were 6 or 7 years old. And in the 70s, that was hard. People didn't get divorced. People stayed together. And it was hard. And we were told we would never make anything of ourselves. And I grew up in a mobile home, and I told you we'd get off a school bus and our house wouldn't be there, our home wouldn't be there, it'd be somewhere else. And, and to tell for kids in school to see that, we got picked on a lot. But being twins, we were also, everybody knew us. I stuttered really bad in school. I was in special learning classes in school. I struggled a lot with my self-esteem. And then I met Robert, my husband. I was 14. He was 16. And we clogged on a clogging team. And he was my clogging partner. And I've never dated anybody else. And he's never dated anybody else. We have only been together our whole lives. And I knew that I would not have the kind of life my parents had. Separating. My mom has been married 3 times. My daddy's been married 3 times. I knew that if I found somebody, it was going to be forever, and I would do whatever I had to do to make it work. And I know I'm not perfect, and he's not perfect either. He's pretty close. But I was not going to be a statistic. I was going to overcome that. And no one was ever going to, don't ever tell me no, and don't tell me I can't do something unless you've got some pretty good reasons, because I'm going to show you that I can do it. And, I'm a fighter. I had to fight. We had to fight growing up. It just, my mom, and she was married at 14 and had her first child when she was 14. And I heard her stories, and I understand she did the best she could as growing up in what she grew up in. But I didn't want that kind of life, and I love my mama, and I take care of my mama, and she did not make the best choices with me. But I knew, I saw, and I learned from her mistakes. And I think as adults and as women, we need to uplift each other, and we have to learn from each other. And I think keeping quiet. I've stood in church and I've told my testimony of my childhood and where I've come from. And the people that came to me and said that they had the same struggles, and that to look at me, that they would never know that I had went through what I had went through, it meant a lot. And I don't know, I don't live in the past. I don't, sometimes I want to, pull it out and play that card, oh, woe is me, and I had this, and I was that, and I got treated like that. But you can't. You got to go forward. You got to push forward, and you've got to just, you can determine your future. You have choices. I could have easily ended up in 3 marriages. I could have done drugs. I had drinking in my life. I was allowed to drink anytime I wanted to. I never did. I saw what it did to people, and I was afraid what it might do to me, and I knew that that was not my path. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, I'm just so amazed. I think I think you're right. There are so many people that have had hard circumstances, and just not everybody, there's so many people who don't have the strength or don't make the choice to try to choose and step out of it. It's just so incredible to me. Um, the depth of your stories and your experiences. And I mean, I really believe in opposites, and in the, you know, there's darkness and there's light. And I just feel like you've chosen to live a life of light that's equal to the darkness of your, you know, what you went through. And so it's just so incredible to see how, you know, determination and watching other people's examples and saying, I don't want that, or I do want that. Like, you're just such the opposite of a victim, even though you've had such a life of that. And so it's really incredible to hear. So I appreciate the vulnerability it takes to share some of that, but you can see that it's definitely made you who you are.
We're not millionaires, and we struggle. We have our ups and downs, but I'm happy with my life. I don't think I've been any happier in my life than I am this day. And I can look back and I can, yes, I've made mistakes. But I know the choices that I've made were the best that I could do at that time.
Yeah.
And I should have worn my little cheetah earrings you gave me. I have on the blue suede. But the cheetah earrings, Soren said to me that day when you handed those to me on the path, he said, I want you to remember these earrings. And I'll never forget that gift. It meant so much to me. And I know they're just earrings, but it's a memory. And you were in my life that day. And that was a big moment for me. And I love them, and I love Cheetah. And oh gosh, it meant so much to me. And I've bragged on you so much since meeting you and Soren, and he's just the cutest thing. And he is such a motivator too. And he really, my husband was lifting me up, and Soren was lifting you up that day. And afterwards, Robert and I were alone on the trail, and I had to stop and hug him, and I had to thank him because he's my cheerleader, and I can see that Soren is your cheerleader. And then to see you had so many babies, and you're just so skinny, and I just love you. I'm proud.
I've still probably got osteoporosis. I'm not taking care of myself in any way. So I don't think I think you're clearly much more healthy than I am. So I have been thinking about you, even just doing my little 7-minute workouts this week. I'm like, Melinda did it every day. I cannot let her down. I have to live up to this. So I've got even more stories now to inspire me from you and uplift me. I mean, it was such I think a God-inspired thing that we were there on the trail the same day. And I mean, we of course wanted to always spread the love and like give gifts, and like it just was such an honor to be able to be in the right place at the right time with something that could be a memory for you and really celebrate you and what you've achieved. And Soren and I had no idea. We got to be the vessel of, giving you something that you more than deserved that day. So it was a really neat experience for us. We won't ever forget it either. So.
Well, that whole program was so special because, especially in this day and age, we have to lift each other up and we have to show love. We have to,
Yeah, there's just not enough of it.
There isn't. And you two started it because, y'all were just so sweet, stopping and talking to us. And it was a great moment. I'll never forget it.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for letting us be part of it. And I feel like I've learned so much today just talking with you, and I know it's going to inspire so many listeners and so many other women who feel and can identify with so many of the things that you've said. I mean, we've touched on so many different topics, from just giving grace to, your past and not hanging on to it, to, being determined and not quitting and doing things you hate, even because it's good for you. You're just such a great example of pushing outside your comfort zone and finding that. So thank you so much for sharing your stories. I know everyone's going to really love it, and it's going to make a ripple effect difference in the world. So thanks for being you and for sharing that with us today.
Thank you, Kylie. You have a great day, okay?
All right, you too, Melinda. Thank you so much. We'll see everybody next time, and I hope this story was just what you needed today, and I know it's going to make a difference in your week. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening today to With Kylie Nichols. I hope that today you felt empowered to take one more step towards living the best version of you. Tune in next week for another episode, and in the meantime, you can find us elsewhere on the internet. You can find me on Instagram at Kylie Nichols and at Nickel and Suede. You can also find us at nickelandsuede.com. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.